You've probably been told that you should try to come over the ball on your topspin ground strokes and especially on the forehand topspin shot. I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube recently that tell you to try to come over the ball, and I think that's very misleading advice, and I want to talk about this in detail today. The standard advice has always been that you should swing low to high, okay, so to generate topspin from under the ball low to high, and the racket face should be vertical or straight up and down in order to generate topspin, and then you brush up the back of the ball. And in my opinion, this is still the best advice. Now, why do we hear people say that you should come over the ball? What's developed in recent years is that on the forehand side especially, pro players are hitting with so much racket head speed that the racket face at contact is slightly closed, but this is something like 5 degrees, so it would look maybe like this. So it's minimally closed, okay? Now, if it's minimally closed and you're swinging very fast low to high, you can still hit perfectly fine shots. However, if you're swinging slower, you want to get the racket face vertical approximately. What I see a lot on YouTube videos is people showing you to have the racket like this at contact, so really closed and trying to hit the top of the ball that will look like this. It's impossible to get the ball over the net when your racket face is like this at contact. It's just not going to happen. So the old advice of brushing up the back of the ball is still the best advice. Even if the racket face is closed just a few degrees, like we'll see sometimes with Federer and the other guys, they're still brushing up the back of the ball more than anything. They're not coming over the top of the ball. But let's take a look at this in super slow motion.
We'll look at several different shots here: topspin forehand, two-handed backhand, and one-handed backhand. Let's begin here with this video with the two-handed backhand. So standard unit turn. Now I drop the racket underneath the ball, and from here you can already see that I'm going to swing low to high in order to generate topspin. Now take a close look what happens here towards contact. The racket moves to contact, and right here you can see that the racket face is pretty much vertical or straight up and down at contact, and I'm really hitting the back of the ball and not the top of the ball. Now, do I sometimes have the racket face a little bit more closed at contact on the two-handed backhand? Yes, but it's never that close that I would hit the top of the ball. I'm still always brushing up the back of the ball. Take a look at this brushing up action here. Now let's take a very close-up look here of the forehand topspin shot, which is the shot that is most often shown when people tell you to try to come over the ball. So we'll take a close look here at what happens at contact. And here we can see that the racket face is indeed a few degrees closed. It's not completely straight up and down. My guess is that this is about 5 degrees closed. At the same time, we can see that I'm still very much contacting the back of the ball and not the top of the ball. So I'm still brushing up the back of the ball. Take a look right here. You can see clearly that I'm brushing up the back of the ball in order to generate that topspin. Last but not least, let's look at a one-handed backhand example. Again, I'll drop the racket underneath the level of the incoming ball to swing low to high. And right here at contact, we can now see the racket face is a few degrees closed, probably less than 5 degrees here, just a little bit closed. But again, I'm contacting the back of the ball and I'm brushing up the back of the ball. Take a close look at that action right here. This is what's necessary to generate good topspin on your ground strokes.
So now that you've seen this in super slow motion, what does it really mean for your game and your topspin ground strokes? The general guideline that you should keep in mind in order to hit topspin is still to swing low to high. Okay, you have to get under the ball, and then you want to brush up the back of the ball. That's how you're going to generate topspin. You do not try to really close your racket face and come over the top of the ball. That being said, what really matters is how you can improve your topspin ground strokes. And a lot of times I have players that have the racket face too open, and I do tell them to close the racket face more. Now, we always try to exaggerate corrections when we're working on a problem. So if somebody has the racket face too open, cannot hit with topspin, then I tell them to close the racket face, and it's often going to feel as if the racket face is this closed because the change is always feels drastic. Any small change will feel drastic to you. So I do often tell students to close the racket face more. But in the end, if the racket face was too open and I tell you to close it more, the racket face will most likely be approximately vertical at contact. And for club level players playing at the speed that you're playing at, vertical at contact is a good guideline. Now, I've never told anybody get your racket face vertical at contact, because that's not really what we focus on when we work on technique. We focus on what happens before, cleaning everything up, having good technique, and then automatically at contact the racket face will be vertical or a few degrees closed, but definitely not over the top of the ball like this. So it's more, the focus is more in teaching is more on what happens before, and then the contact happens naturally. That being said, I did want to point out that we have to get the racket face approximately vertical, and we have to brush up the back of the ball. This is absolutely key.
If you want to work on your game according to the OTI methodology, you can now do that with private lessons from an OTI certified instructor. My friend and colleague Nadim Nasser is the first OTI certified instructor, and he now offers private lessons according to the OTI methodology year-round in sunny Miami, Florida. When you work with Nadim, you'll get state-of-the-art instruction with instant video feedback on the court. Nadim has helped me with several clinics, and he's been teaching the OTI methodology for several months now successfully in Miami. Nadim's students are extremely happy with the results so far. Alex says, "Thanks again for a really fantastic lesson. I'm really pleased. I honestly wasn't expecting to be hitting the serve so much better right away. It's pretty awesome." To find out all the details about taking private lessons with Nadim in Florida, simply click the link inside this video right now.